So excited that you're here for the day 2 of your Increase Your Credit Score Challenge. As you know, it's February 28th through March 4th, and it's 5 p.m. Pacific. If you're on my time, it's 7 p.m. here in Texas, and East Coast 8 p.m. But I'm so excited you're here and that you're giving me this wonderful grace because tech is not my thing. Money and finances is my thing. All right, so um, what is this challenge about? So it's 5 days for you to focus in and have the intention of increasing your credit score 30 points in 30 days. This is the kind of thing that we tend to not prioritize. And so I love challenges because they really help you to take action with other action takers in a short amount of time. So in this case, in 5 days. So my intention for you is that you will take and implement everything you learn in this training to gain momentum to continue achieving all of your financial goals in addition to your credit score goals. Because I believe that with the right education and encouragement, that's key, encouragement. All of us have all kinds of information at our fingertips nowadays. We don't need more information. We need, yes, the education, but followed with that, the empowerment, the encouragement, to empower you, to let you know, yes, you can do this so that you can gain financial wealth and abundance. Okay, so what can you expect? You already know by what we experienced a few minutes ago, you can expect some technical difficulties. I'm just kidding. But I promise I will do better tomorrow and I'll get it figured out before the 5 days is over. But no, you can expect engagement. I like interaction because I'm sure you don't really like people talking at you, just like I don't, right? So when you engage, by the way, and I'm a trainer by day, so when I'm training my students, they're getting more out of the lessons and it's really sinking in and they're learning more when they're actually engaging. So what does that mean? It could be something as simple as taking some notes down. That's why I'll say bring your pen and your pad of paper, even asking questions, answering questions. You know, you could do a hashtag or answer any questions I have, and that way you are going to be able to deeply take this training, understand it better, and use it to your advantage to increase your credit score. You're going to have valuable insights and perspectives because when it comes to money, we don't talk about it enough. And fortunately for me, this is what I talk about most of the time. And so I really know that you're going to gain some insight as we go through this, not just about your credit, but about finances and money and your mindset in general. And you can expect we're going to deep dive into all things credit, credit reports, scores, whatever you guys have questions about, I'm committed to answering them. So I'm glad that you guys show up to the live because this is your time to um, to ask them, right? You can always do it in the replays and put in the comments, but I think it's more fun this way, right? So, you know, you might have a question and I might have like two follow-on questions to your one question. Usually that's how it goes, but it's fun. Um, and so you're going to learn about the implementation and accountability program that I have to offer you as well, because I love hanging out with the action takers. And so hopefully that's you. All right. So the other thing you can expect is powerful and proven strategies. So you're going to get sound financial principles because I'm an actual financial professional versus I'm not what are they called? Influencer. I'm not one of these little like gurus out there telling you do this, do that. And they just are, you know, maybe sometimes borrowing, you know, whatever they read online and then they're just repeating that because I see that a lot, honestly. A lot of my clients come and tell me, and it's just so obvious that some of the financial information out there that the gurus are trying to give you, um, they're not really sound principles, okay? And so what we have going on in this class is going to work for you no matter what your income level is, what your credit score is, and you can see results as quick as in days. I don't like to say that in the title of my challenge because um, that could sound like, yeah, right, right? But in 30 days, absolutely, you're going to see results if you're taking what you're learning and implementing it. All right. And, I say stuff like, um, uh, increase your credit score. And then I say, without borrowing somebody else's credit. So I say that because that's the kind of information that's out there. And I've seen that go really bad for people because it sometimes can ruin relationships. So I don't want you to go ask your mom to add you to her credit. Instead, I teach you strategies that make you financially independent, not dependent on others. So let's get started. And so I like to start here because I want to include everybody. You're all at different learning levels, right? So we start here because we want to make sure we hit the foundation and everybody's understanding what we're talking about before we get deeper and deeper. So first, what's a credit score? So a credit score is a number that is attached to your identity once you become an adult and you start becoming active with credit, like getting credit cards, getting a student loan, a car loan. And it does become a part of your identity, whether you like it or not. And that is the way that companies, businesses, landlords, employers can quickly make a judgment about you by looking at your credit score. And so the higher the number, the what we call, the better your credit score, the higher the number, and the more credit worthy you are, and the higher your financial health and wealth. However, if you were here yesterday, you watched the replay, I kind of disagree with that because I've worked with many clients, wealthy clients, 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, and they don't have a high credit score. So by making a snap judgment and just looking at their credit score, you would think that they don't have good financial health and wealth and that they're not credit worthy, but they are. So I don't necessarily agree, okay? But I didn't make the rules. This is the economy in which we live in. The financial institutions, the banks made that rule. So we just have to know how to play the game. We have to learn and understand the rules of credit so we can be successful, because if companies, businesses, landlords, etc. are looking at us in that way, well, we have to look at our credit score in the same way as well. All right. So a credit score, as the higher the credit score is, then the lower it coincides with the lower interest rate. See, this would be the high end of the interest rate where the arrow is pointing. But conversely, if you have a low credit score, right, you're at the very end of the top of the arrow, you're down here with a low score, then you're going to qualify for the highest interest rates. And what happens is when you have higher interest rates, it's just going to mean that whenever you want to go buy a car, house, get some credit cards and finance something that you might need or even want, you're going to pay more in interest. So it's going to be more expensive for you to have the same thing financed than somebody else with a high interest rate. And so what I wanted to say about this is that unfortunately, when you have no credit score, you can put a number one if that's you. Put number one if you don't have a credit score because you've never even established credit yet. I know I have some young people that signed up and they're telling me, hey, I don't have a credit score yet, but I want to know. I want to learn what I have to do, right? So if you're here, just put a one. And but if you don't have a credit score at all, unfortunately, the rules of the financial credit game says that you're going to be looked at pretty much as if you have a low credit score. So you're going to qualify for high interest rates or no, your application will be declined. So no credit will be extended to you. So in that case, I want to give you a tip. And this is kind of getting off track a little bit, but I know my audience, You guys are here at different levels. And so I want to tell you that a tip there, if you're establishing credit for the first time, or you kind of just like haven't been active in the last 6 months and you're trying to rebuild your credit score, is you start with your local bank or credit union and you ask them for some credit. You know, you fill out the application. Nowadays, it's all online, right? And the reason why is because you already have an established relationship and you're more likely to get accepted. My least favorite way of establishing credit is getting a retailer card. Sometimes they're a little bit simpler to get, like they're easier. Like you're at checkout, right? Old Navy cashier is like, hey, do you want to apply for one of our credit cards today and you get 20% off today? You know, those are retailer credit cards. And the reason I say that's my least favorite way for you to establish credit is because um, those are usually just used in those stores. So you wouldn't be able to use that Old Navy or Target card or any of the retailers outside of that retailer. And that's just one reason. The second reason is because the interest rate is higher when you start out there. So that's just a tip because when you go to your bank, you're going to get a Visa or MasterCard. Those are accepted pretty much everywhere and not a Target card, right? Or an Old Navy card or a Zales card because, you know, you bought some jewelry and you got credit there. Okay, so tonight we're going to go over understanding the mystery behind why your credit score changes wildly each time you check it. All right, so now that I know everybody's on the same page, we know what a credit score is and how to get it, how it works. And before we delve more into the credit scores, I wanted to make a quick public announcement. No, I'm just kidding. But yesterday we talked about how you can pull your free credit reports. And that is because there's a law. I don't know if you remember. If anybody remembers it, put it in the comments and you'll get extra bonus points. It's an acronym and it starts with an F and there's 4 letters. But the law that I'm going to wait to see if anybody gets it right before I say it, but this law gives you 12 specific protections on viewing your credit report and why would you want to view it? Somebody put in the comments, why would you want to view it? We talked about it yesterday. And this is essential because your credit report is tied directly to your credit score. All right, I'm going to tell you. It's because of errors. Up to 29% of credit reports have an error which could be negatively impacting you. And that's why I wanted to make sure I put it in a slide and didn't forget to tell you the website you go to obtain your own free credit reports. So I put a couple arrows on this slide to show you important things. You want to make sure you land on the correct page. So it's annualcreditreport.com. That is the one and only government sponsored website for us consumers to go get our free credit reports. Before COVID, it was 3 free credit reports per year per person. But apparently, and this is where you go. Each time you want to get one of your free reports during that 12-month period, annualcreditreport.com. And if you want to check it more times because of COVID, the individual credit reporting agencies are going to give you more reports than that. So that's what you see in the middle of the screen. So during COVID, accessing your credit is important. It's always been important, but we talked yesterday about why is it so much more important right now. And that is because of inflation. Inflation last year was 7.5%. So when inflation goes up, everything goes up. We noticed it in our gas, right? Utility prices and everything has gone up, right? Groceries. But it also increases your variable interest rates on your credit cards. And so again, the higher your interest rate is, the more interest you're paying per month, the harder it is for you to become debt free. So I want you to make sure you land on this correct website, because there's other websites trying to kind of fool you and trick you into going and using their website to get your free credit report. But this is the official government one, and you need to land on the correct one, so that way you don't get like, they'll sell you other stuff or anything like that. All right, so for you action takers, you serious action takers that really want to take care of business this week, I'm going to put this link in the comments for my Zoom. Actually, only if you need it, only if you want it. If you want to stay after this training for a little bit so you can pull your credit report with me, I will do that with you. So just, I want to know that you want that. So I won't even drop the link in the comments just because I have to switch screens and everything like that. So just put a hashtag VIP, and then I will invite you to my VIP Zoom room, and we'll pull your credit reports for free tonight on this website that I'm showing you. So go ahead and let me know. Oh, dang. Okay, I did switch screens just to see what you guys are all saying, and I see that I got somebody correct. Naheem, and I know I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but he was correct. FCRA. Yeah, so hashtag VIP. Awesome. So here I am dropping that Zoom link so we can get that taken care of. And you will be able to see, are you one of the 29% of people who have errors in your credit report, which could be impacting your score? So that's awesome, Laura. Awesome. I'll see you after this. Okay, so that's the Zoom link. All right, so moving on. So now we know about credit reports, credit scores a little bit. Let's go deeper. Did you know that credit scores have been around for 25 years? That's a long time. Some of you maybe have not even been alive that long. But so the original credit score was invented by a company called FICO. And that is probably a term that you've heard before, right? So it stands for Fair, Isaac, and Company. But that's not important. What's important is that they've been around for 25 years, and they're the original FICO inventor. And so over the years, they have this formula on how they determine our credit scores. And they've been tweaking and tweaking and tweaking throughout the years. So that means that each time they do that, they're creating a new, quote unquote, a new version. Okay, so that's why there are so many different scores. I counted over 40 FICO scores. There's this link on their website, and it shows you from the whole history down. And that's why, so when you are checking your credit score, you might have checked it because, let's say, like, for example, Wells Fargo, because I bank with them, and they let me have my free FICO score once a month. So I'm like, cool, let me take advantage of free financial tools, right? So I go on there and I see my FICO score, but then I have an app called Credit Karma. And then I'm like, let me check my credit score there. And so, see? So now you're like, oh my gosh, I checked it the same day and the numbers are way off sometimes. So this is one reason why your credit scores can swing wildly and they just seem like all over the place, because those could be two different types of versions that you're looking at. And this is like, just to add, a little more confusion to it, you could be looking at a FICO score 8, for example, and if you are applying for a credit card, it will be the FICO score 8 credit card version. If you're going for a car loan, it could be the FICO score 8 car loan version. So that's why I don't think that you need to worry too much about those changes, because I really don't like, I do like that you guys want to learn about it, but I don't like it when people start getting a little bit like obsessive about it and checking every moment of their life. Thank you. I think I saw a comment, a like come in, but it's because it's normal for those to come like ebb and flow, okay? So I'm going to tell you when it is important that your score has changed so much. Um, and one of those reasons is, oh, here we go, that, okay, so real quick. This is why you shouldn't worry too much. Say you're in like the good range or fair range and you're like at 721. And this is just an example, okay? And you're like at 740, right? And then you look at another credit scoring model and you're like in, well, that's a bad example. Let's start with 750. And then you find that you're like 775. Well, check it out. You're still in the same like range. So it's okay. It's okay. Now, the time that you would want, to make sure, hey, why did this happen? I'm checking the same exact thing. Like for my example, I checked my Wells Fargo free FICO score 8 credit score last month and it changed wildly. And I'm checking the same source, the same exact time type. And my score took me from one level to the next, right? Then that's when you would want to pay attention because then that's affecting the interest rates. But if it goes up by 1 or 2 or down by like 10, 20, it's not that big of a deal if you're still staying within that range. Because that's the way that the lenders will qualify you for things is by what range you're in, not exactly down to the last exact number that you have. So generally, and there are many, many providers of credit scores. We talked about how the FICO was the original OG inventor of this credit score, but since then there's a lot of companies out there that offer it. So these ranges right here are going to be different. Even within the same FICO, the different versions, these ranges could be different depending on the version. But generally, okay, generally, over 750 credit score, you are in the highest category, meaning that you can apply for credit and most likely even get 0% offer deals, which is amazing because you're OPMing, you're using other people's money to fund your life, your goals, your dreams, your necessities. And so ebbs and flows is okay. Now, another reason why it can go up and down wildly is the credit utilization ratio. So you're like, what's that? Okay, let me explain. And so the five FICO credit score factors, and by the way, since they are the OG on the credit score block, all the other companies that have invented their version of credit scores do like to follow kind of like the general way that the FICO scoring model does it. But in general, you're going to have these five credit scoring factors, and it tells you on here the percentage of the credit score, how much of that category is weighed to make your score. Hope I didn't say that confusing because I think it might have came out confusing. But basically, out of your credit score, what percentage of your credit score is determined by your payment history? And right here, you can see, like somebody put it in the chat. What percentage of your credit score is based off of your payment history? And that is the highest out of all the categories, as you can see. Let me go to my other screen and see if anybody got it right. I'm sure you did. Caitlin, why'd you make a sad face? Oh, okay. She said, I used to have a 750 and I was still only fair. Yeah, because it just depends, like I said, on which version, which company, Credit Karma license tells you needs work. Yeah, we have to remember like Credit Karma this is what I tell my clients. I like Credit Karma in that it allows you to have a general idea of your credit score, but do you know why? You want to know why it's free? Unless they've changed it recently, the reason why it's free is because it's a little outdated too. So you might still be okay. You might be doing better than you think, but credits, they're giving you the free service because I think those are a little bit outdated unless they've like changed that. So, and again, remember the ebbs and flows. Mine goes up and down like big swings. Yep. Yeah, I'm so glad that you guys are getting value out of this and we're getting those insights that I was talking about. That's awesome, and those perspectives. So I didn't see a comment about what you think credit utilization ratio is, but that, payment history. No, I was asking you about payment history. So basically, this is the most important out of all the 5 factors. And this is something that is within your control. That's the good news. And so, I'll get back to credit utilization. But the payment history is simply, how have you been paying? What's your payment history look like? Are you paying on time? Do you pay a couple days late sometimes? Do you pay like a month late sometimes? That's what payment history is about. And so that is within our control, right? We know when our due dates are. We can make our payments on time, and that's the good news. 35% is based off of that. So now the next thing, credit utilization, I kind of left it hanging. I talked about it and then I left it hanging, but here we are. We're back to credit utilization. Don't get your feelings hurt. Okay, so that's 30% of your credit score. Credit utilization is just a fancy way of saying amounts owed. How much, and so this is the thing that the FICO and all the scoring systems, they don't tell us everything, right? They don't want us to know everything, because then if they tell us everything, then we might be able to kind of like figure out a way to cheat the system, I guess. I don't know. But basically, I'll give you an example of credit utilization. Say you have a $1,000 credit limit, okay? And if you charged $500 on it, then you would have utilized 50% of your credit limit. So that's credit utilization. You would have 50% credit utilization. So here is where you take notes, because if you want to increase your credit score, besides making your payments on time, and this is what I tell my clients, I say, do you make, are we making our payments on time? Yes, ma'am. And then we look at their credit, right? Well, what else can we do to improve your credit score? And I do these individual credit score action plans with my clients, and I'll sit down and I'll look and I'm like, wait, that one's late. Wait, that one's late. And they're like, well, yeah, I pay mostly on time. No. 35% of your score is based on that. So we want to pay on time every time, and not just sometimes, okay? And that means for all of our accounts. But with going back to credit utilization, any balance over 30% of your credit limit takes points away from you. So those are in your control, right? So you can say, okay, I have $1,000 credit card. I am only going to charge up to $300 on this $1,000 credit card, because I know if I go over $300, that'll be over 30%. And then FICO and all the other ones, they're going to start docking points away from me. So if you want to gain the most points, pay attention to that. Now here's the tricky thing. This is the tricky part, because this is something that I've discovered as well, is that it's not just necessarily on one individual credit line at a time. They also, in this algorithm, I don't know what else you could call it, in this formula, the way that the FICO and all the other credit scoring models give us our credit score, they're not telling us, okay, that's just on an individual credit line. But how about if you have, let's pretend you have 10 credit cards and they're all $1,000 credit limits. So you also want to be careful that out of your overall credit limits, all added up, are you also keeping under 30%? I hope that makes sense. So, and then again, they don't tell us exactly how much they weigh, looking at individual credit lines versus looking at your whole entire credit limit portfolio, and seeing if you're going over 30% on that. Okay, so the takeaway here is you have a lot of control of your credit score, and the ebbs and flows are okay. Given that you're staying in that range, And also, don't OCD about it. It's not good for your health. I see too many people and they get really like upset about it. And then when I help them to understand, hey, you're still in the same, category, and you're still in fair, or you're still in good, you're still doing good, then they go, oh, okay, let me calm down. So anyway, so now we're going to go a little bit more and talk about how you leverage financial tools like a credit simulator. So my recommendation would be, if you really want to delve a little deeper, on myfico.com, there is and you have to pay for your credit score through them. So it's like, I don't know, I think it was like $19 the last time I checked. The reason why I don't know is because I get a nice little code that I get to use with my clients, and they get it free through my little code. Those two hadn't been updated for some reason via Experian website. My score was higher. Okay, I'm now checking back on your comments, y'all. My score was higher at the car dealership than on Credit Karma. Yep, see, Laura, that's a great example, because on Credit Karma, that could have been a little outdated. And then they pulled a legit, very current FICO score on you. And they were going to run one that's a car FICO. So the one that Credit Karma was giving you was most likely probably not a car specific credit score. Okay, and Caitlin was saying, I checked my Experian account. It also gave me 2019 scores for my TransUnion and Experian Equifax. So yeah, so that's why we want to go ahead and, it's good that we have these free tools, but we don't want to really count on them because we know they're free for a reason, right? And so, but it's still okay because it gives you a general idea. But if you want to really look at your myfico.com credit score. And what I like about it is, and like I said, it's about $19, something like that. But there's a credit simulator in there which allows you to say, okay, based off of my credit score, what if I paid this account off? Or some people want to know, they're already planning for the next thing they want to finance. So some of my clients are like, okay, I want to get a car, but I want to know what it's going to do to my credit score. And then we'll look at it, and then we'll say, okay, we're going to add a car. And then the simulator allows you to do that. So that's cool, because then it'll like already forecast and tell you what it's going to do to your credit score. So that's what you call very strategic and very money savvy clients. And so you could do that too. It's just a new way of thinking, because guys, we weren't taught this stuff in school, right? So it's okay if you don't naturally kind of think that way. But yeah, again, if you want to hang out afterwards and you want to just pull your credit score, you would have to pay, your $19 or whatever my FICO is charging you nowadays. But we can look at that together. I don't mind. Or if you want to hang out after and we can look at pull free credit reports, we can do that too. Just make sure you don't forget to do the hashtag VIP in the comments so I can get that Zoom link to you as well. Okay, so I always save my intro for the middle because I always figure there's people kind of running late. So, and I want to get you the meat and potatoes at the beginning. And then who am I? It's still important for you to know who you're getting financial information from, but like I'm not as important as what you're here for, because my mission is to help you guys. And but anyway, so let me quickly tell you that I've been an accredited financial counselor for the past 11 years. And that's what you see like under my name. Money coach is kind of like anybody really can say they're a money coach, but I'm actually a credential professional. So that just means I went to college, and then after that I went and took some courses, and then after that I took like a 300 question test, and then after that, um, I have to follow these strict code of ethics, and every year I have to take 15 hours of continuing education units. So it's a real profession, and it's not a common one. So you probably never heard what's AFC, but that's what we are. And all of us are passionate like this. All of us are passionate about helping people with their budgeting, their, credit, debt, saving, and investing, and all that. So the last 11 years I've been working as a DoD contractor, and I've literally worked with, I would say probably a lot more than 500, but I just put it at 500 because that way you guys don't think, yeah, right. Because I was working on the military installations. And so I was working with soldiers, airmen, Marines, um, Navy, and their families, and federal civilian employees. So I did a lot of speaking and a lot of one-on-ones. And so that's a little bit about me on the professional side, but who am I really? On the personal side, I'm just a daughter of two Mexican immigrants, and I was born in Chicago, and I was brought up real like low income neighborhood, so I understand the struggle, and especially during the years my mom was a single mom when we moved to San Francisco. I remember barely knowing her knowing barely a word of English, and so we lived very poor. And I think that's why I connected so much with this young couple, and which is why I'm a what I do today. I help people with their finances. Because in high school, I was very impacted by the experience I had at this mortgage company. And I was there because I was working for high school credit. You remember those classes where you can go in town and work? And so I was a receptionist, and I saw people come and go all the time. But this one family in particular, it really stuck with me because they came in all happy and they're going to buy their home. They're excited as you could imagine. And then something changed. And then they left in tears. I didn't realize like what's going on, right? That was the first time that I had experienced that. And so one of the lenders told me, well, they went and bought furniture on their credit, and they were about to close on their house, and now their credit score went down and their debt to income ratio went up, and so they don't qualify for the loan that we were going to give them. And I'm like, what? Like, they didn't know that? No, they didn't. They don't know. People in general don't know about credit scores, debt to income ratios, because it's not taught in school, y'all, right? Like, so that kind of angered me. It kind of angered me because I connected with not having, and that family was not having that day. And so from then on, I was just like, wow, I'm going to learn about this stuff. I'm going to, I don't want that to happen to me. I'm going to teach everybody that, about this stuff. And then so fast forward to today, that's why I do what I do, and I'm very passionate about what I do. And because I want you to have, and you can have, no matter what socioeconomic level you're from. You can be an immigrant, or you can be like me, first generation. You can do a lot of great things with your finances if you know the strategies, the timing, the rules. There's laws that help you and everything else. But yeah, and I'm also a mommy of three beautiful kids and three fur babies, two doggies and a rabbit. And as you can see there, my husband is also, he served, and so he's a retired Army officer. So, and you can see over here on the last picture, I can't not tell y'all that I'm an Army veteran myself, and because that's part of my identity too. And I was right there on a deployment. You could see the tent behind me and that cheesy big old smile. Why? Because of this right here on my cot. It was mail. And anytime a soldier gets mail when they're deployed, it makes their freaking day. It makes their week. All right, so that's a little bit about me, y'all. A little bit of personal stuff here. But anyways, it's not about me. I want to talk to you guys about you guys. Like, what can you accomplish if you keep showing up to these? If you keep being proactive, taking this free training and just like implementing and being action takers. So what can you accomplish? I want you to take a moment, if you've gotten distracted on your gadgets or whatnot, come back for a second, because I want you to just be in the moment right now to dream a little and imagine what can you do if you keep putting yourself first and showing up to these kinds of events. So imagine having the ability to qualify for any loan you need. Imagine being a good role model for your kids. And you can write a 1 or a 2 if these are the things that you want, they resonate with you. Knowing the exact month and year you'll be completely debt free. Hashtag 3, right? Or maybe it's 1 through 3 already. Imagine giving more to your favorite charities, important causes, or your church. Imagine saving thousands of dollars in interest and being debt-free months to years faster. Imagine having complete confidence in your ability to make wise financial decisions. Imagine buying your dream home or car. Imagine going on fantastic vacations and not worrying about the cost. Imagine building savings and investments for your future and generations after you. Hashtag generational wealth. How cool is that? Well, I know that you guys are here for a reason, and I know that you guys have tried lots of stuff, and you're going to keep trying stuff, and that's awesome because you want to get to where you're going. And I just want to acknowledge you for what you've tried. You know, you've probably asked friends and family for advice, but they don't know, or then they start judging you, or they worry when you talk about your finances to them. Or maybe you started budgeting, saving, using your credit responsibly, but something always happens, right? You've gotten all this information. Maybe you read blogs or books, but then you figure like, how do I implement this information to my personal situation? You're not really sure. Maybe you do have a spouse or a partner that they're just not on the same page with you. And you've tried though. And maybe, you listen to the gurus and you think, should I implement this? But you don't know who to believe because there's so many differences in opinions. Well, you think you don't make enough money, you're not good with money. Hear that all the time. It's too difficult or it's too late to get your shit together. You can't have fun until you're debt free. You can't invest until you save thousands of dollars. No, it's not your fault. Okay? You just haven't had the right education and encouragement. That's key. Right? And so basically you haven't had the right tools so far. So you weren't taught this in school, first of all, and then the financial gurus out there, right? They're kind of confusing you sometimes because they're saying stuff like debt is the devil, cash is king, right? Eat rice and beans, cut up your credit cards. And then those messages do settle into your mind and you start thinking stuff like, you know, man, kind of embarrassed. I do have credit card debt. I should have it paid off, right? So these are messages from all these different voices out there. Don't go on vacations until you have saved thousands of dollars in savings. Get a side hustle, make more money, or sell your stuff, make more money. Do not invest until you are debt free, and so on. Hear this all the time. And it's like, what you don't realize is you don't have to do it like the gurus tell you. And you don't have to feel guilty or shame where you are today. You can create wealth with income you have now. You do make enough money. You trust me, you do. You just need the right strategies and the right timing. Um, you can learn how to be good with money and confidently manage your money and elevate your financial health and build wealth. And it's not too late to organize your stuff and catch up. And you can use credit as a powerful financial tool. You can pay off debt faster. You can save money by managing your credit scores and all that, and have other opportunities to buy your dream home, invest more money. And you can go on vacations. You can go to dinner. No rice and beans for you. No, I mean, unless you like them like I do. But not like every night. Come on. That's what these people are telling you out there. You could build your score to the highest category. If that's what you want to shoot for, then you can do all that stuff. And you guess what? You can do that by yourself. You don't have to pay one of these credit repair companies out there. A lot of times they do promise a lot. And in a very small fine print, when you go and sign a contract, like one of my clients did once, he was promised, the moon and the stars and everything else, and the credit report would be like beautiful by tomorrow. And guess what? He was paying $400 a month. After 6 months, he kind of caught on that there's something not right. And so, I mean, do the math. 6 times 4. Spent a lot of money. And we looked at the contract and he said, no, they said they could do this, they can do that, they can do that. And when you look at the fine print, guess what, guys? It says it on there. It's very fine because they're expecting for you to not like be reading everything. But in the fine print, it says they couldn't guarantee anything that they were promising him. Yeah. And the last thing is you can begin investing before you are debt free. The heck with that advice I'm hearing out there. It's like, especially if you have a 401k matching at work, you can be leaving a lot of money on the table that you can't afford to lose. So definitely you can begin investing before you're debt free. So you can. And how can you do that? Well, the way you can do all these things is having a good financial system that addresses your finances as a whole, not compartmentalizes your credit from your debt and your debt from your budget and your budget from your goals and your goals from your budget, like your retirement. It's just you have to have a holistic system that looks at everything all together in the same picture. And you don't have to continue to be in doubt or confused or worry about finances. I can teach you this system and I'll introduce it a little bit in a second, but you don't have to buy these programs like this client of mine, the $400 a month. And that was just addressing one component of his whole financial picture, right? That was just his credit. What about his debt? What about his savings? He wants to go on vacation. What about like all the other things, his retirement and a college fund for the kids, like all of it, And $400 just for that and wasn't even guaranteed, and it said it in the fine print. So I want to introduce to you the MFW framework. It's my system where I take the money mindset as a component, money management, leveraging financial tools as the second component, and wealth and legacy protection as the third component. So you add these three up and you get a holistic system that elevates your financial health and builds wealth so you can be confident that you can live the life of your dreams without having to stress or worry about money again. And so, uh, some people say, what do you mean, like mindset? What's that about? And I just want to explain a little bit more as to those different pieces. So, money mindset. Money mindset is the shortcut of any kind of success. Like you're an athlete, like this, in the slide, this picture of this lady, right? You have to have that right mindset. So, do you agree that you have to be having this certain kind of a mindset if you want to go, like, let's just say, do something that most people don't achieve? Okay, most people don't achieve wealth, but let's just talk about, let's say, fitness, for example. Most people won't run a marathon, right? But do you think you can run a marathon without believing it, without having that mindset right? Probably not, right? So I believe it all starts there. And so we have different money beliefs, by the way. Where'd they come from? Well, you you can trace it back all the way to when you were a little child and your upbringing. Like my upbringing actually is why I am what I am, a money coach, a counselor, a financial consultant, right? So it could be your religion, your cultural background. All these pieces have contributed to your money mindset. How about your parents? Have these old like people up here like looking all mad on my slide. They're fighting. Like, how about that? Did you experience that stuff as you grew up? Did you see that fights over money or the lack of conversations about money? Maybe they weren't even conversations that were going on. So all of these have impacted your religion. A lot of my clients of strong religious beliefs, um, have money mindset things that disallows them from really growing wealth. Because sometimes there's like a little bit of thinking about like, if you have money, you're greedy and things like that. So yeah, the money mindset goes a long way. And I help you discover what your money personality is with a fun like online quiz that I send you to, and then you get your results and we come back and have a chat about it. So you have to be in that right mindset to become that homeowner or become that wealthy person and turn your finances around if you're not there yet. So all success begins with the right mindset. Money success is no different. Okay, and so money management tools, well, don't have to chat too much about this because this is self-explanatory, right? There's a lot of tools available to us that we need to know how to use, and we need to use them to help us with our finances. So, there's some examples like you need to know how to set up a goal properly. You can use your credit, your debt. There's budgeting tools. There's progress trackers and all this stuff, checklists and things that I provide as part of this money management to get your numbers right, to know where you're at so you can know where you're going. And then finally, once you start seeing, oh, wow, like I'm actually starting to save here. I'm like, this is happening. This is happening. Hey, I'm going back to my Facebook. I was in the Virginia Army National Guard. Woo! Awesome. Awesome. Caitlin said 3. Awesome. She related to the 3. All right, so cool. Going back. So anyway, so you start building up your savings, right? And you start creating wealth. You're actually accumulating assets here. Hey, baby, I have a savings account now. Oh, hey, Jeremy taught me how to start up my 401k at work, whatever. But now you're actually building wealth. Well, you need to know how to protect it now, right? So those are the things that we cover because even right now, I want to be honest and ask you a serious question. Don't even answer it in the comments. Please don't. But I want you to think about this. If something happens to you today and the only thing you have is, your $5 or whatever you have in your checking account, whatever amount, it doesn't matter how much, because I'm trying to make a point that it doesn't matter if it's even $5. Did you tell anybody? Is there a way that you told somebody where that money's going to go? Right? Okay. And those are things that you can set up with your own bank, your savings and your checkings. You can tell the bank. You could designate payable on death beneficiaries. But these are the things that we're not taught in school, so it's just like basic stuff. Yes, if you get to a point you need will, we got you. We're gonna make sure everything's covered, so all your hard work is going to be protected. But so those are the things that are part of my MFW framework. So do you see how the MFW framework is the key to liberating your money mindset, to confidently manage your money and reach financial freedom to live your dream life? I hope so. A lot of my clients say, yeah. All right, so we're almost at the end. I want you to continue to show up for yourself and make this commitment to yourself. I like putting things out there because this is like an intimate, private group. We're all here for the same kind of reasons. So you can feel free to put a comment and put out there into the world and commit that you're going to implement the MFW system that you learned this week to increase your credit score and achieve financial success. So I'm going to post the homework later, but you can copy and paste it right in the comment and make that commitment to yourself. Put it out there out loud, and we will encourage you in that. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to go over how your credit score is affecting you in more ways than you realize. And we've already talked about all the ways it's affecting you. But we're going to go deeper. Okay, so and how you're going to get an advantage because you know what's up. The recap is credit scores are part of our financial identity, whether we like it or not. And approximately 29% of credit reports have errors. So those of you that hashtag VIP, you have the link. You can join me right after this and we'll go in there and get to work, implement what we're learning. Annualcreditreport.com is the website if you want to do it all by yourself. But if you want to do it and you have time tonight, it's more fun when we do it together. The MFW is a holistic financial system. That's my personal system that I have, and serious action takers. We already talked about the Zoom. So what are your general questions about what we talked about today? Because when you have like deeper questions, we can talk about it in VIP. But what are your general questions? Let's see. Back to the chat. I'm gonna wait, give it a second, because I know sometimes you guys can't type that fast if you're on your phone. I'm just gonna keep looking out for that. And I always like to end it off on a nice note. So the training is officially over. I'm still checking back to see if I see any question, but I wanted to leave you on this note, which was, before I forget, day 2 homework. I forgot this yesterday, but I won't today. So if you want to be entered into an opportunity for scholarship, then you can do your homework and tag me. Anything you do, tag me, because I give extra points to those people who are taking action and I reward them. So your name goes in the drawing more times than somebody else who didn't do the homework and didn't tag me, right? So this is what you can put for your homework for day 2. What your FICO score is, and this is going to be what, when you check, you check it, you pay the $19, and then you're going to do the simulation. What's it telling you? What can you do? Okay. And then the increase in your credit score will benefit you how? What are you going to do now? What are you going to accomplish, right? And how is that going to make you feel? Probably very proud, I'm sure. So I'll copy and paste that into the comments. And the quote of the day, I'm going to leave you with. Let me check one more time to make sure no questions came in. I have a general question. Okay, Caitlin has a general question. How are successfully disputed and removed items resold and added again? And oh, you know what you can do? Always keep a copy of your credit report and all the dispute letters that you send out, because yes, they reappear their ugly heads and you want to be able to come back and snap it and right back out of your life again. So you don't have to go through the whole thing again. Just keep all your receipts, all your letters, all the notes. If you made a payment, keep those receipts. Um, it's been like a whack-a-mole. I know. I hear you. I hear you. I was getting a bunch of pre-approved mail from a credit card company with a code to apply, but the card they were offering me 5% cash back wasn't the card I wanted. 2% cash back with lower interest rate. Ooh, you're very smart. I applied for 2% and was declined. Would my odds of getting approved have increased if I just applied for the card on the advertising mail? That's hard to say, Caitlin. But you know what? If can I give you another tip, please? I want to give you another tip. Okay, let me go here and let me quick. Well, okay. Let me go and tell you about. I'm gonna have to fetch my list of resources, so I'm not gonna be able to like. Okay, let me let me give you at least one. Okay, June. Hold on. I'm gonna Google it because I don't know the website right off the top of my head. June. There's a government website. Let me see if I can find it. And you can actually, I don't know, you by the way of your message, Caitlin, it didn't sound like you hated getting those, the junk mail, basically, the pre-approved offers. But the reason why I don't like getting them and I don't want you getting them is because, you know, there is identity theft out there. And those could get in the wrong hands. And like you said, you could have just put a signature on it, throw it in the mail, and boom, right? All they have to do is, oh, I have a change of address, but yeah, I want this credit card, and they sign your name, and voila, they have a credit card now getting sent out to their house. So I am going to put this website down there. It's optoutprescreen.com. And this one is going to be where you can opt out of those. And instead, what I want you to do, Caitlin, is you're going to go to this website. And I'm going to copy and paste this one because this is, you can always get good deals out there. You don't have to wait for the deals to come to you and have the chance that you have all these pre-screen offers coming to you and they can get lost in the mail. Um, you can go to a website like bankrate.com and you can search by your credit score range and see what all the offers are for somebody in your category. So that's what I would do instead of the other thing. And, it'll cut out on a lot of that junk mail. I have more websites. There's a government one, and there's one for opting out of these marketing like phone calls you get. It's not going to get rid of all of them, but it does help a lot because some of my clients were like, I'm telling you, like 1 minute away from giving away all their information to these IRS scams, like calls. I don't know if you guys remember that because like it was like about a year or two ago when those were really, really aggressive and they sound so legitimate. They sound so official that even I got one day and I was like, hold up. Like I knew it was not a legit, but they're so well trained. I'm telling you, they sit there and they practice because this is these scammers' full-time job. They have the scripts. They tell you that they're agent so and so, and they give you the badge number. It's so crazy. It sounds so real. And when your emotions are turned on, and you're like, whether you're scared, excited, sad. You guys probably have noticed this. You might go shopping when you feel sad or something like that. That's turning down your logical part of your brain, which is why sometimes we make like bad financial decisions when we're like too emotional, whether it's we're high or low. And yeah, so I don't want you guys to get those calls because they're very good at getting you to believe them. She says, no, yeah. So I would rather you guys do stuff like that, shop on your own. And but yeah, to go back to your question, Caitlin, because I know what I know, and I live a lot of lives through the eyes of my clients, right? So I have a lot of lives that I've lived, and so I almost feel like what has been done to my clients has been done to me. And with that, I have to admit I'm kind of paranoid. So when you say would I have gotten approved, I I want to say, do we even know if it was a legitimate offer? I mean, it probably most likely was. Um, but we don't know. We don't know if you would have gotten approved. So I don't want you to live in regret, but I want you to think that, it's better for you to find your best deal. And maybe by going to Bankrate, you'll find a better deal than the ones that were coming in your mailbox. And then you'll be like, yeah, I'm glad I asked the question. But I can show you how to shop for your specific credit score. There's a part inside of that tool where you can say, okay, my credit score is between 650 and 690. And then you just filter out and the results will tell you, okay, Caitlin, these are the offers for you. And it'll just go. And you can go down the row and shop around and look at all the different deals. And Laura used to work at Capital One, no fooling me. Our training was fierce. Oh, I'm so glad because like I used to be a bill collector at one point. I don't throw rocks at me. Sorry, sorry, sorry. But yeah, I used to be a collector before. So that's why I'm very experienced with these collections practices. And let me tell you, there are laws that protect us as consumers, the Federal Debt Collections Practices Act, and I knew that thing back and forth. But you know what? We knew how to not, because we were a legitimate big, credit card company. We weren't like some scam, scam shop in like India or anything like that. We were legitimate. However, we knew the law so well that we had a lawyer come train us and they would teach us how to straddle that line of this is totally illegal and this is like totally, not legal, like, or legal and not legal, right? We knew, and yeah, so it was from Discover. Yeah, Discover is it's probably a pretty legit, but I can't say that for sure because they sent you that pre-approved that you would definitely get it. She says I definitely throw away those general lending loan offers. Yeah, and especially the student loan ones. Those are the worst, guys. The student loan ones and consolidate your student loans. Whew, those are bad. The government's cracking down on those so hard right now. Um, I had to do some collections for Capital One. We did overflow for that department. I did not like it, but I was good at it. Yeah, me too, Laura. You must be feisty. You must be feisty. That's probably why you're good at it. That's cool. Two cycle billing, don't do it. There's a lot of wealth of knowledge here. I'm glad you guys came. You guys made this fun for the participants and for me as well. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's more questions. So we'll go ahead and hang out in the Zoom. I'm gonna hang out there for like a few minutes, and if you come in, we get to work. If you don't, then I'll see you back tomorrow at 7 p.m. to kick more butt. Okay? All right, y'all. See you next time.